Welcome back to the Coffee Hour. I'm Andy Bates.
I'm Sarah Gulseth.
A bit of a correction. It is still Tuesday, but it is Tuesday, December 10th, not Tuesday, December 11th. I should look at the calendar when I say these things.
I mean, it's true.
But you know what that means.
I'm going to be lost all day now.
Because you're wondering what year it is. Why is it not Tuesday, December 11th? It's Tuesday, December 10th, which means we are into Advent.
Yay.
We're what? Nearly almost halfway. 2 more days and we'll be halfway into Advent this year. And that also means that preparations for, if you are one who sends Christmas cards, you probably should be making those preparations if you're going to send Christmas cards. On the other hand, we often send Epiphany cards.
Last year I was trying to send Easter cards and I still didn't make it. So.
Easter cards, wow.
Yeah.
That's a nice idea.
It never happened.
So did you know that the tradition of sending Christmas cards dates back to 1843? Had to do a little homework this morning.
I did not.
1843,
now I know.
The predecessor to like the postmaster in the UK, Sir Henry Cole.
Whoa.
Yeah, getting people to send. So
someone just had this idea to send Christmas cards? Well, now I'm going to grill you on this.
I think the idea was to encourage people to be able to send personal letters to one another using the new postal service. It wasn't necessarily called that, but yeah.
How fascinating. Yeah. Now I need to go...
So let's talk more about Christmas cards with our dear friend Kelly Schumacher of Agnus Dei Liturgical Arts. Kelly, thank you so much for joining us in studio today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Tell us a story of a Christmas card that you've received or sent that was maybe memorable for you, or it had some sort of impact on you. Maybe it was one you sent, maybe it was one you received.
Oh my goodness. Well, I don't know if I can do a single one. But my family, we send out a family letter, Christmas card every year. And, when we were little, my parents did the family photo, and that was always a challenge. Every family knows this, is trying to get everybody together and looking good or getting along or anything like that. And then actually, as our family has expanded and people have moved away and siblings have gotten married, it's been changed up a little bit to now be some of my cards. But now it's changing up again as family members have gotten married. We're going back to the photo cards again. So, and then typically every year, someone in our family, my mom or my sister, will write the family Christmas letter, which was what my mom was dearly working on last night. So, it's always kind of we try to put like a Bible verse or some words from a hymn, and then we do little updates on every member of the family, and then, just do a closing thing. And we use that as a way to, it's a good way to reflect on our year, and it's a good way to just talk about Jesus with, our family and friends. And you never know what impact that's going to have. So I'm thinking of our family tradition with Christmas cards. So.
Ours is very similar. I have distinct memories of my childhood with my early days in graphic design when I was 10. My mom would handwrite our Christmas letter, and then when we got a computer when I was a little bit older, I would be the one that would type it all into the computer and then lay it out and put these fancy graphics on it, back in the 90s. And so it was superb. But it was always this exciting thing to write about everybody and think about what's happened in the years. And now that I'm married, we don't actually write a letter, because every year it would be, we rode bikes and
sang in the church choir.
So there you go. But I'm curious what you look for. Maybe before you started making your own Christmas cards, because these are beautiful. What do you look for if you buy a Christmas card, or what stands out to you in cards?
Right. Well, That's a good question because, I mean, I remember like just receiving cards and, and as a little kid, you'd go to Hobby Lobby or you would go to like Walgreens or something and they'd have the card section. I don't know if Walgreens still has the card section, but anyways, you go there and you're like, and I always would pick the most sappy, overly emotional cards that were like, to my one true love, Merry Christmas, blah, 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 blah. And this is me like as a child. And I would be like, oh, Mom, we should send this to someone. And she'd be like, no. This is over the top. And that part of me is still, anyone who knows me well, that part of me is very alive and well. That's overly mushy and sentimental, but I like those things, but I think as I got older I started just seeing a lot of different Christmas cards that were religious, but a lot of them had like glitter.
I love glitter.
I know, I do too, but like glitter and, things that just, but it was almost like when I was looking at religious Christmas cards, the stuff just seemed very, decorative. And believe me, I love decorative things, but I started kind of thinking, well, okay, this is nice, but is there depth to put into it? And even though I think beautiful wreaths and, I love the whole, Charles Dickens and Christmas Carol and, all the trimmings and the pretty trees and things. Even though I love pretty things so much, I also think that there was an even deeper beauty of the meaning of what's actually going on. And I found myself kind of hungering for that, which is one of the things that started my own line of Christmas cards.
Which are beautiful.
Thank you.
They are. I'm mesmerized by them, and now I'm wanting to read through all of them. So how can Christmas cards serve in telling the gospel?
Right. So a common story that I talk about is when I was in graduate school, I was in an environment where very few people were Christians, and I was the only Lutheran. And this just really was kind of a shock for me as someone who had grown up in a very insulated Lutheran bubble. And I really found myself praying and asking God, okay, how do I talk about this when people are so far from you? Like, how do I even open the door? And I started to just make religious art. And it started opening up conversation in a very non-invasive way. But it was very clear. It wasn't like I had to like skirt around theology. I could be as clear as I wanted. But for some reason, it didn't make people, well, it could have made them uncomfortable, but it wasn't preachy. But it was truthful. And I saw that kind of model work really well as far as sharing Christ clearly with people. And what we found is that my mom had this idea of, putting out a new Christmas card every single year. And what we realized is that people were giving these cards as a way to talk to family members and friends who were not Christians. And the simplicity of just the baby Jesus, or, one of the cards even has both the Easter narrative and the Christmas narrative in it. Actually, several of them do. They're just small ways to, get to talk to other people about Jesus. And, that's kind of it in a nutshell, essentially, is it's just opening that door. And as our world becomes more and more corrupt and less caring about the things of God, I think that the visuals and even going back to old ways of doing things, like for a while Christmas cards, kind of fell out of fashion, but bringing back those old traditions, I think, is what's going to kind of get people reacquainted with what we believe again.
Yeah, I think Andy and I both have a favorite card now.
We've narrowed it down out of the, 7 that are here? You have 7 now in the Christmas card series?
7. I think so.
Is this artwork just for the Christmas cards, or are these available as prints too?
Both.
Oh,
yes.
Sweet. So tell us, because we're on the radio and people can't actually see what we're talking about.
And we have a minute and a half.
Sorry. Briefly, no. What are these images that you have on these cards?
Oh, you mean like what are they of?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, great. So
Describe.
Okay. Paint with words. Paint with words. It's nice being with other creative, like paint with words.
Paint with words, not with glitter.
Okay, so as I paint with words, so some of them are black and white, other ones are color. There's one that has 2 stained glass window type shapes, and then it's both the Nativity of Jesus and then the crucifixion surrounded by a floral border. I did that one in a more medieval style. Mm-hmm. That one's featured in the children's book, The Creation, Fall, and the Promise, as well as there's another one called The Light of Men, which is of baby Jesus with his hands folded, and he has a halo around him. It looks like a candle, and then there's little vines or sheaves of wheat all the way around. Another one is of baby Jesus inside of a flower surrounded by hay that looks like a crown of thorns. And this one's in color and in black and white. And I wanted the idea that it would be Jesus heralding in the new creation, and that Christ is our paradise. Another one, this is the new one this year, is I called it creatively The First Christmas. And then I think I put in like John 3:16 because I'm running out of things to call these. I thought we're going to go very honest here.
Find out more at Agnus Dei Arts, agnusdeiarts.com. Kelly Schumacher, thank you so much for being
welcome.
our guest on the Coffee Hour this morning. Here's your $1 million idea, Epiphany cards for those of us who don't get these things done on time.
Yeah.
See, there'd be no whole Epiphany line.
It's true.
Thanks so much for being our guest.
Great, thank
It's a
you.
production of KFUO. To support the Coffee Hour and KFUO Radio, visit KFUO.org. You can also text KFUO to 41444 or send an email to gifts@KFUO.org. And you can call us at 800-844-0524. KFUO. Christ for you, anytime, anywhere.